in the chat, and then you could say the question or something, or I can do that if you want me to log
There is
in.
no chat. I don't see the chat feature. I've only got the option to raise my hand.
Can I call it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call the meeting of the Kyle Arts and Cultural Commission. And I have 7:08. Hopefully everybody has a copy of the agenda in front of them. Okay. As we get started, I'm going to go ahead and have our secretary, Ms. Stephanie Murray, call the meeting. Well, I see what's missing on here. The roll call, Stephanie. I just call the meeting order. Would you do roll call?
Vanessa Westbrook.
Here.
Tara Monroe.
Here.
Liz Chavez.
Here.
Brooke Pillafont.
Here.
Melanie Adkins.
Here.
Michael Lynch. Vicky Price.
Here.
Here.
Everybody's here. All right, good deal. All right, at this point in time, we're going to have citizens' comments. But also the Arts and Cultural Commission, we welcome comments from citizens, those wishing to speak, I encourage you to go on and give us a sign. We don't do that, we just let us know that you're here, and you will be recorded in our minutes for being present. If you're interested in speaking, also let us know that. We ask you to limit your speaking time to about 3 minutes. Anybody to speak? All right, I recognize Susan.
Good evening, my name is Susan Burnett, and I just wanted to say thank you to Stephanie for taking care of me for the event on Saturday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It was a wonderful experience, and I was just very glad to be part of it, and I really appreciate that.
We're happy to have you. It's really nice meeting you.
Thank you.
With that said, I'm going to go ahead and announce our city councilman that is here with us this evening. Ms. Yvonne. Well, how do you know what's that all day? You always say, what do you say?
You know, some people call me Laura, some people call me Kel, some people call me Wesley. So.
All right, Councilwoman Yvonne Flores Cagle is with us this evening.
You're the liaison.
Oh,
So I will be here to check out, taking feedback from you guys.
well, that's okay. Thank you.
She was there.
So what's with liaison?
All right, appreciate that. Is that something you guys recently
Thank
decided?
you, just 2 meetings ago.
Okay.
And so, me and Paul were like, I was such a advocate for Paul having this program. And so we actually approved it while he was, it was near 30 minutes. That's surprised I was back that this was really great. I think it's aesthetic. I love every art, music, food, designs, so.
Thank you. All right, we do appreciate that. All right, with that said, we're going to next go to the approval of minutes. Everybody has a copy of the minutes that was printed electronically, and you have a copy of the minutes in front of you. There was one correction that I wanted to make on the minutes. At the top where it says the regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Kyle Boards of Arts and Cultural Commission, we're going to take out the word boards of, and it should say regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Kyle Arts and Cultural Commission. You're either a board or you're a commission, not both, okay? Although they're similar to each other. All right, that was the only one that I saw that I thought we needed to make a correction. If anybody see anything else? All right, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask for approval of the minutes by just saying ayes and nays. So all those in favor of the minutes with the correction, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Right, thank you very much. And moving on down the road. All right, so now let's go to a couple of things that I had as the chair's report for the commission. Okay, everyone is aware that our official name change, Arts and Cultural Commission, is a done deal now. They had all the voting, everything that needed to be done. And so all of websites, social media, postings, articles, etc., should say Arts with an S and Cultural Commission. If you guys happen to be looking at something and you notice that it says Art Commission, that kind of thing, kind of give us a heads up so that we can go in and make that change. And I would say if you do see something, would you CC me as well as Colleen, and then we can get it to the right person. I think I saw one thing, I happened to mention it to the communications office, the folks when I was talking with them last week, and they said, oh, okay, gotcha, and it was already corrected. Okay, so, because there's a lot of stuff out there that has been put out, et cetera, and we just want to make sure that we get that name correctly in the books and wherever else we need to have it. So we are good to go as that stands on. I did have a meeting with the communication office regarding some future events that are coming up, one of which is in February. We are going to have the Peace and Progress Community Dialogue, continuing with it yet another year. I mentioned it to you all at the last meeting. We had some details as to the date, the time, the location, the procedures. Right now, citizens can go online and they can sign up if they would like to serve on the panel. I'm meeting with the group, the communications group next first week of February to look at the list of everybody who has submitted a application. Well, it's more of a form saying I'd like to participate. And we decided we're going to go between 6 and 7 panelists. We're not going to do more than 8. Actually, we're going with 6. We got one to grow on in case we need it. And from there, we will then get that list of who's going to serve on the panel, and then start putting out PR about them. And I'm currently working on the questions. If you've seen Peace and Progress in the past, the one we do for Black History Month always has a theme that is connected to the national theme for the Association of African American Studies. This year is called Black Resilience. Once the questions are done, they are then sent to the panelists for them to review ahead of time. And then we have the event that night. It will be interactive as it normally is for the past couple of years, where people in the audience, as well as those who are online, will be able to partake in questions by going to their cell phone, going to something called Menti, going into the app, and then we'll pose a question. They'll have an opportunity to answer the question. And then we will then show the answers up on the screen and then have more discussion from the public coming in. And just a little bit of background, the first time we did Peace and Progress, we only had the panelists, and we had like 15 people. It was a lot of people involved. But one of the things that we got back from the community was like, hey, we didn't have a chance to interact. We wanted to ask questions. And so then work started on how could we get the community involved when you're at home and you're jamming, watching it on TV, or whether you're in the audience, you would be able to participate. So we came up with the Menti. Been working extremely well thus far in getting those to come in with replies. Plus things like afterwards, people go on Facebook and post what they saw on any of the other social medias that we have. So we get a lot of feedback from folks overall, how well they liked it, what they didn't like. They had an additional answer to a question, those kinds of things like that. So we will continue with that. For sure, the event will be on February 17th. It will be at 7 p.m. at the City Council chambers. It will run an hour and a half. Again, we'll have no more than 6 to 7 panelists. And this year is something a little different. When they threw the ball in my court to try to organize it, my idea was to have a generational panel. So we're going to have folks from the age of 18 all the way to folks to the age of 78 on the panel, and ask a question and get different kinds of responses from the panelists, and their response is going to kind of be connected to their age as what, how they're gonna answer something. I think that's a really way of involving a lot of people and getting a lot of perspective on some of the questions that we are going to be asking them. In most cases, we ask an average of 4 to 5 questions. We may get to question number 5. And that's not including the questions that we ask to the audience. That's another set of questions. And in most cases, it's like 4. And so the panelists will respond to the questions. And again, this time it's going to be kind of a generational response. And I think everybody will enjoy the conversation. It's a dialogue because something else can spring off of what someone else has said. So it's not so much of, okay, your turn to talk. Okay, now your turn to talk. Okay, now your turn to talk. People will still be able on the panel be able to choose whether they want to speak or listen. And so we know, if you've seen in the past, we had paddles, and on one side it said, I choose to speak, and on the other side it says, I choose to listen. And then that really nice paddle is a commemorative souvenir that the panelists get to take home. We're upgrading up a little bit more, and they'll be able to take it home with them. So kind of that same suit in regards to what we've been doing in the past. A little different is that having this widespread of citizens of Kyle, and we're all asking citizens of Kyle. So we won't have anybody on the panel who's not living in the city area. So get a perspective. All right, so questions on that, anybody? Yes.
There is like, I love her niece's name. She was the first Black councilwoman in Kyle.
Madam Welch?
Yes, can we see if she, I don't know if she has a chance to do it.
She doesn't feel well. She's not good health. So, yeah.
No, I just saw her too.
So, yeah.
Okay. How about her niece?
I don't know anything about a niece.
Her niece lives right next door where she lives.
Give me
I
that.
can get her name.
And you can see what you contact.
I talked to Miss Betty Welch.
We can ask. Yeah.
Great stories.
She sure does. And if you hadn't had a chance, Maddie Welch has a whole hour-and-a-half long interview on Channel 10 that runs where she's talking about growing up in town back in the 1920s and 30s and then leaving because she had to and then coming back. Really, really, really interesting story. All right, anybody else? Peace and progress. Okay. All right, I think y'all remember me saying at the last meeting also that we're going to work on this peace and progress throughout the year. We have some really good ideas on how to really make it a little bit more innovative. All right, I am going to move us to the next conversation I had was with the Parks and Rec Department. And this is the big one that's coming up. I sent you some information about it. The National Fitness campaign has actually awarded the Parks Department a grant to put in a new facility. And they want us to help them come up with criteria. So I'm just gonna stop there because I got a big spiel on that. And we've got some information to look at in just a couple of minutes. We've got to make some decisions and I've got some stuff for us to be able to go through to make some decisions about, et cetera, and we've got a timeline. So I just want to give you a heads up that I talked to them about this NFC event that's coming up, and you also should have a copy of a page that says Art in the Park Project. Does anybody have those? Let me know if you don't. I'll send it your way. So, and also speaking with another division of the Parks Department, they're doing something that's called Art in the Park. And the first one was already on the 14th, this past Saturday. Each month, they are going to do some kind of art project. It's either going to be in the Cruise building or it's going to be in the gazebo, pending good weather. And so as you can see on the list, every month there's something going on. For February, they're going to focus on Black History Month, and that's going to be the theme for making resin coasters. And the idea is it's going to cost $5 a family to be able to come and interact with this art project. And it's a take-home project. So they're paying basically for the kit to be able to make whatever it is they're going to be doing for that designated month. She was not, unfortunately, able to get every single Saturday, like the second Saturday every month. She wasn't able to do that because they were a little late in putting the schedule together. So the second, in February is the first Saturday, in March is like the fourth Saturday. So as you look down the list, you can see there's a variety of things that are going on. Hoping that any one of us on the Arts and Cultural Commission might want to go and help them out at some given point in time, or go and see what's going on. For the most part, they're focusing on basically just this idea of just creating artwork for a family to come and engage in. The mom and the two daughters, the dad and the son and the daughter, etc. And again, I was asking about cost. She said $5 per family, because basically if they want one kit, it's $5. They want two kits, then it'll be $10, that kind of thing like that. So if 4 kids coming and each kid want to make their own thing, then that would be $20. So they're going to work on it from that standpoint. But I wanted to go ahead and give you guys this list, maybe put on the calendar, one of these you might want to attend, because you see what's going on, you might want to actively be involved in helping out with a Saturday. It's just a go if you like type of event. They just wanted us to be aware of what all was going on. They want to do a 2.0 version next year, so they're going through it this year to try to work out the kinks, etc. I'm sure they'll come back to us with more ideas, etc. in regards to upgrading when the time comes. Also, at the end of the year, how well did it go? Is it something you want to continue doing, etc. Okay.
I have a question on these.
Yes,
Where,
ma'am.
where all are these, how is the information getting out about this? Is it on social media? Or
It is on
kind of-
social media, from my understanding. It's also on the city's calendar. It's on the parks calendar. And I want to say that there was an opportunity for them to be posted on some of those billboards, you know, the ones when you're coming in and out of the city, the digital ones. I believe she said something about that. They also sent something out to Hayes Consolidated ISD, to the art departments, to collectively saying these are going on, please pass the flyer out to families, et cetera, that kind of thing like that. So they actually created a really cute little sign that says Art in the Park. I actually saw what it looked like, and that's being put out. I know the library was supposed to be getting it so they could post it, et cetera. So around town from that perspective.
Piggybacking on what she asked, do you guys receive the emails from communications about art?
About
About
art.
like the art events? So the city will, like the communications,
Well, you're not talking about the newsletter that goes out.
no, I'm talking about they give you something and then you take it and then you can repost it, so you don't have to go look for it. So I think it's a good way for you guys to at least be able to know.
Okay. Yeah, no, they know about that. Okay, all right. Good to know. We'll look into that. All right. Okay, any other questions about art in the park? Okay, I'm gonna move this on down the road. Let's go to number 2, and that's the community theater project that Ms. Brooke is taking the lead on.
Well, Vanessa emailed me to meet independently last week, and so we sat down for coffee. And she wanted to talk to me. I think it's about the new business I saw on here, number 2, the East Side of Kyle Art Project. So we talked about the sculpture, and at the end of that conversation, she brought up the fact that she had spoken with council members here in the community about the theater project, and they no longer want to do that. That is not something that they feel is an adequate way to engage the community as a whole right now.
They didn't say they didn't want to do it. They said they didn't want to do it right now,
Right, they don't want to do it this year.
this year. Yeah.
So, so we had nothing to report. But I wasn't sure who you spoke to, like which council members you spoke to. That wasn't clear. I was in a rush because I had to get back to work.
I didn't
ask
actually
them.
name council members, because I told you it was council members as well as some of the community themselves.
I just didn't know like what meeting that was at.
It was informal. We were at an event, and it was an informal
We don't
discussion.
know which council members
Yeah, I know
actually.
exactly what it was.
Oh, okay. I was
Is
just
there,
sharing who it was.
That, I didn't get permission to do that, so.
So my thing is that like, I just feel like we didn't get a chance to like bring it as a whole as a commission to the council, but they're rejecting that this year.
I didn't say they were rejecting it, they just said that they didn't want it right now, and that's something for us to have a discussion about right now. So as you kick off on this, we're gonna bring this to the table.
Yeah, no, let's do it. I'm ready. That's all I know. So that's all the information that I was given from you during the meeting. Other than that, I don't really know anything else. I haven't done anything else since we had a conversation, because it sounded to me like that was definitely something that was not happening this year.
All right, so with that in mind, Brooke bringing up the idea about the community theater and perhaps not focusing on it right now,
I mean, I would actually personally want to continue to focus on it, but it sounds like there's not enough.
Well, hold on, let's see what everybody else is. All right, so with that said, what's the consensus or thoughts around the table from the other commission members in regards to the community theater? The last time we talked, the last time we talked, she came and she told us a couple of things, which is in the minutes, right? We had already talked about a possible price, well, an amount, budget rather. And she told us about not the PAC, but perhaps another building. And then she had talked with a director, and she said the next time she came, she was gonna possibly give us some potential plays to look at. So since then, I had information that I shared with her about holding off on this, but I told her, let's bring it to the commission and see what everybody thinks. Now, Brittany said, hey, let's still do it. So what's y'all thought on this? Because a couple of y'all came to me also. What's you thinking?
Oh, I thought we were kind of on board as a whole, that was something that we were gonna do if we scaled it down to like a smaller pop-up idea. So that was my impression. I thought we were all in the same boat. I'd love to understand what were some of the, like, the reasons why people weren't wanting. This is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, I know this, yeah.
So I'm just curious what, anonymous feedback or not, but like, what were some of the reasonings why people were against it? Because I thought it was a good idea, especially if we had multiple shows on a smaller area downtown.
One of the reasons they gave me during our meeting was that it didn't feel, that they thought that it wouldn't engage the community as a whole, that we wouldn't be able to, since, I guess you had said something about charging for it. And so they felt like if we charged for it in any way that it would not allow everyone in the community to come. But I was under the impression at our last meeting, we talked about like donating some of the profits to a nonprofit or having a night where people could come and not pay. So
Oh, yeah, that's a good.
I wasn't really too sure. I just felt a little caught off guard.
I just
so.
have a question. I know they do a lot of theater productions in Buda, especially at that new
At
facility.
Inspired Minds.
Are they charging? Are they,
Yes,
how is that
we
work?
charge there.
And is it all outside venue?
No, it's an inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They got their own spot.
It's really
Oh,
nice,
okay.
actually.
It's like back behind where their new library is and everything? Or is
It's
it-
across the street from, do you know where they're building that new restaurant Taste, where?
Or Brooklyn, it's like, basically,
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
sure.
it's like right across the
Okay,
street.
I'm right across the street from there.
They actually
Oh,
have a little
Well, that welcome.
auditorium. Not the welcoming center, it's down from there.
Okay.
It's almost like real close to that big tank. But they have their own auditorium within the Inspiring Minds.
But I think that you had also mentioned that
I just
whoever you
wanted to
spoke to had said that because there was Inspired Minds there, that that's also one reason that they
Yep.
weren't interested in doing a theater in Kyle.
Yep.
Is that mostly what Inspired Minds encompasses, is theater? Or they do
No, they do
They
everything.
do all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I can speak to that. So, one of the things that came up was that having some kind of event where we would charge, and initially we might be able, some of the citizens might not be able to participate because they wouldn't be able to afford it. Another one was the idea of not having a true space where we could actually have something like this. And, we actually talked about, well, we don't want to do it at the PAC. It's too big for what we're looking for. We'd have to find something smaller. There was another thought about, this is not something that we're ready for it just yet. Not do it, but just hold off on doing it just a little while longer, because could we actually have this done and ready to go by September, knowing that we're about to get ready to get into February. So those are some of the few other things. Did I hear something?
And can y'all hear me?
Money to the sculpture
Can you-
instead of the.
Can you hear me?
Well, sorry.
Go ahead,
Can-
Vicky.
I'm sorry, and I do want to say, I'm sorry, I'm still testing positive for COVID. I'm 20 days of testing positive, so I didn't want to expose y'all. This is brutal. But I got to be honest. I mean, the more I think about it, I'm in full agreement that it's a great idea, but I think we need to wait. I think there are other things that we need to do. We need to build our name. We need to get the foundation and the basis of what the commission's going to stand for. And we need to have some smaller, successful events under our belt, not just events that we partner with other people, but events that we do beginning to end. So I do think it's a great idea. I think if we decided as a group to try to pull it off this year, we would, we could do that. But I think it would be better suited if we postponed it a year. That's my thought.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but there's actually going to be an amphitheater in Liberty Park.
I'm
And so that is a good size, and a good area. You will bring people to that area. Definitely, no questions. There's going to be food, there's going to be entertainment. So the event, and that's city owned. Well, it's TERS, so essentially we're paying for it. But that's a great option, especially for the outside, especially for September or later. And another thing that I would probably suggest, just my opinion, is maybe not planning to do it this year, but getting all the ducks in a row for next year. So you gotta get the play figured out. And so even if you start like mid-year, then next year you're not rushing to get everything done. As far as.
I love that. Starting this year for next year. I think that's a great idea.
When is the amphitheater expected to be?
Oh, Lordy. So I can tell you.
Because then that's more on their timeline now.
Well, that's gonna be done, it was supposed to be done 3 months ago. So, and it's supposed to be done next month. Now, when do I think it's actually gonna be done? Probably July. We're probably a few months out, but, I don't know if there's another place that we could use, even if you could use like, a small school, come collectively with the school to say, hey, can we use your, your gym, your auditorium to do these plays or to practice? And then when you're ready, you go up to the big one over in Plum Creek.
I think that, yeah, again, I think that it would be nice to have come as a council together to propose it and not just find out like in a meeting and that it's been like decided that something else is happening. So I guess that's just disappointing to me.
Well, if the majority of you guys want to do it, then you just take it to council. It's all about like.
But it's not like council doesn't want it.
I didn't know about it.
Nope, that is not what I said, and I'm gonna restate what I said again. There was some discussion, which is why I brought it to you. I also told you that we were gonna bring this to our commission members and have a discussion about it on whether we wanted to continue pursuing it or we wanted to hold off on it for a little while. There was no decisions made other than people's opinion of the event. That's
It just
just why
wasn't
we have.
communicated well that way, so that's okay. It just wasn't communicated.
All right, so anyway, Brooke, let's see, I'm sorry, not Brooke. Vicky had a chance to speak, Liz had a chance to speak. Stephanie, what are your thoughts?
So what about the actors? Like when we did the MLK event, I found it hard to get people to donate like just an hour and a half of their time to come to the event and speak. So like, who would the actors be? Is like the director bringing them in, or is it people like in the city of Kyle that want to donate their time?
So I think that it would be both in that instance. There's a lot of people who do performances throughout kind of like this area in Wimberley and Driftwood and Buda and things like that. And so and over in like San Antonio area and South Austin. So there's actually a pretty big repertoire of people that will come out and are interested in donating their time for this. So like the theater down in New Braunfels, I went to a casting call there for Clue, and there were 6 roles, and there were almost 70 people there for like tryouts and things like that. So I mean, there are people in the community that are definitely interested, whether it's specifically in Kyle. I mean, of course, it would be wonderful to have people from Kyle who are interested, but people from all over, kind of part of a larger theater network that come in and volunteer their time to be a part of it.
Fuentes Elementary is an art school. So that would be a really good resource to go get with the teachers. Both my kids go there. We're not zoned, but they go there. And they do plays every year, and they make their own props, and they do all kinds of themed concerts. And so the reason why kids can go to that school in an open setting is because it's a themed school, and that theme is art. So they do some really, really amazing things. It might be a good idea to reach out and just say, hey, what are your resources? Like, hey, can we share? Or is your teacher interested in directing their play? I mean, kids, they love it for the school, but if it's going to be on a bigger spectrum, they would probably be elated. And that's just me making assumptions. But I would think, talking to the teachers there, that they would have an interest in it.
Well, and I think Brooke's plan was to make it more of an adult themed
Well, then,
situation.
you know what, it's so much easier to deal with kids. But no, because they could be like a
I think the
best
subject matter, I think, was more like grown-up audience. initially. I mean, I don't know.
I think
Still-
yeah, we were still thinking about kind of like raising our initial conversation as we move, was that it would be kind of like more like high school adults, not all rated, but more like not bringing your 5 or 6-year-old with you.
Okay.
I have a question. If the venue really is, like, if that's an option to do the amphitheater, would that change up, like, the type of play you were looking at? Or like, the types of plays you would be looking at versus like a pop-up venue? Would that change anything about the strategy of planning? I'm just trying to understand, because I'm wondering, my reason for asking is if we do the amphitheater, could we look at something maybe for the spring and then, so maybe not as close, because I feel like a year is kind of a lot longer, and it's like if we always push everything back a year, we're never gonna make any progress on many of the things we are already setting out. So maybe, well, yeah, I understand it's crunch time and we're still getting our ducks in a row, maybe postponing at least maybe to spring versus a full year.
So spring of 24 is what you're saying?
Yeah, and so then that way, it's like, it's still on the track of, and it's in this like fiscal year that we're working on, but not exactly like pushing it an entire year, because that feels a very long to me, that I feel like we could, if we pulled together like an MLK event, I'm sure we could pull something. I don't know, that's just my thinking of
Yeah.
postponing it to.
Well, I knew that Laverde was a possibility, but I heard Laverde wouldn't be ready till like August.
Girl, I don't know if it's gonna be ready. I'm gonna tell you, it was already supposed to be ready. So
So that would just build in a little bit of buffer time between. if you're
And I knew
going in.
Laverde had an amphitheater too.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. I've seen the diagram for it, which would be perfect. But like I said, we couldn't plan a play on something that's not ready to go yet.
Right.
And we keep, that they kept it move back. And I was like, oh, September now.
all right, 2025, here we go.
There you go.
So maybe that might give a little bit of buffer time to maybe use a space like that, and then we could use more of the resources versus like finding the venue, and then, but also not push it out so much that it's like a whole year where we're already kind of making progress towards it.
And the amphitheater, for the most part, would be usable for the public and not have to charge a fee.
That's
kind
true
of
too.
thing, right?
Yeah, you could do donations though. I would do
Right.
donations, and I'm gonna tell you guys, every time I meet with developers, I've just started doing this, and I got 2 of them to say, okay, I say, hey, would you be interested in donating to our arts program? And so every time I it's something small,
Yeah.
but for them, you know, even if you say 10 grand, that's a lot to us, right? But I think that's what I got for one of them, was like, I was like, something to show that you want to be a part of the city. We'll give you a little section of the city, you guys donated. And I try to push for that in the fire department. Because.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yvonne, the other question I had too was the idea that if we did say push this back and we're looking at next spring, that amphitheater would also be something set up where practices needed to be occurring. That could happen there too, right?
You know what, that's a good question to ask collectively as council. And so would it be allowed? I'm sure it would. Although spring is a good time to be outside. I think the amphitheater is gonna be great for like a couple of practices. I don't know if you want to find a place to practice during the day because it's gonna get really hot.
Yeah.
In elementary school.
Yeah.
They usually.
Well, that's,
stop
yeah, I like the
at
idea with the elementary school as
Yes.
a possible venue for practice.
Yes.
You know.
I think I'm gonna be hard to go first.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. I just feel like
You could probably use Simon Middle School. I've got some pool there.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So let's get back to the table. Anybody else want to give us some comments in regards to our community theater project that we got to talk about on the table right now? Anybody else want to?
I don't know how much work it takes to put one of these things together, but I would think that we would want to have a small committee working on it instead of just one person. So, I mean, there's a lot of planning has to go in, a lot of, reaching out and things like that. And I just think that it's a good idea, I think, to push it off a little bit. Maybe not a year, but, I like that. Other than spring.
And to piggyback off of what you said, Brooke, you know the most about all of this. So when you find out like how much help you need and what you need from us, then we can definitely make like a little subcommittee and help you with whatever's going on. But you know all about it. So you know that.
The marketing, the PR guy is good.
Yeah, and I mean, just in our conversations, we talked about directors and plays and getting actors and all that stuff. So once you kind of get your plan figured out, I definitely volunteer to help you.
And I think this could also be like a trial run too, of like, if we really do see a lot of success, then we could move to doing more of like the pop-up and then charge more, you know what I mean? But like, I think
you could charge it all.
yeah, that's true, yeah, like if
Donation.
all being donation
Some
based,
people
yeah, I mean,
donate.
Zoker Theater
And they
does
will-
well, yeah, it does well donation based too, so.
And they took a lot of donations and put people into, what we've done in the past, put them in the program, right?
Right,
And
yep.
so they put them over,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, people, that's, you know,
Sponsors, if any,
Yeah,
probably.
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Would
yes.
be the same.
Get a little.
All right. So
right there.
sounds like I'm hearing that, we're gonna keep the project on the table, but move the project a little bit back. Is what I'm hearing saying. Tell me yes or no, that's what I'm hearing. I heard from Vicky, Liz, Melody, Stephanie, what your thoughts?
I like the idea that Liz brought up to have it in the amphitheater and then push it back to the spring. I think that's the best.
Cause I didn't hear nothing about January 24th, that thing did all that.
No, it's, last time it was either 73 or 79% done. But my question to the staff was like, they've been moved for 2 years, so how do you get from 73 or 79, I can't remember, to like 100 in a month?
And it's ready to go,
Yeah, so it's not, realistically, I know they've, like, calendared us, like a dig and all excited and grand opening. And I was like, that's not gonna be next month.
All right.
Calendared anyways.
All right, so it sounds like, we're gonna continue, moving back a little bit. Brooke, you wanna continue working on it?
I'm good.
Bring
Yeah,
us-
I'll see
bring
what
us
my
more
timeline
stuff.
looks like,
Okay.
as far as my own work goes, especially in spring, so we'll see.
All right.
Can I just ask a question,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
food for thought in terms of, do you envision it being a one-off play or like, sort of like a company, like a theater
I mean,
company?
ultimately, I would love to have like a theater company in Kyle or have a theater in Kyle, because you can bring in a lot of things to a theater and do a lot in it. And while I think that, you know, whoever Vanessa spoke to brought up the point of like, okay, well, there's one in Buda, but there's not one in Kyle. Like, we should have one as a city, like a space where, I mean, you can do dance performances, you can do, you know, more than just plays, you can do all kinds of things that you can run. Summer camps there for kids. I mean, there's
Improv comedy.
improv comedy,
There's
yeah,
a lot.
all kinds of art, you know, art
Stand-up.
performances,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. I mean, but a theater, I just think is a really great idea for Kyle, so, I mean.
Yeah, I was just thinking about
Whoever we speak to about that possibility before it gets shot down, so.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like not like the human resources involved in like something that was sustainable, like as a company versus as just like a one-time thing,
Right.
like, you know what I
So
mean? Just,
this was kind of idea to get people like in the community to see like, okay, we can do this and this will be great. And, you know, and I thought that it would be a wonderful idea, but if it's not backed by our city, then we need to like maybe come up with a different way to do it. So that's what I'm concerned. I'm just concerned about whoever I
Well,
spoke to.
there's
It's not
a
like we're
couple-
gonna put all this effort in and then it's gonna get shot down.
There is a couple of things. One,
Because it is a lot of work.
we have a potential venue that we could do something at more than once. That's about to.
Right, the amphitheaters are really not an easy place to put a play on. I'm gonna be really honest, like, it's great, it's fun, I don't mind trying to see if we can do it and pull it off, but it's really, there's a reason that there's not a lot of them.
And what I can say is that if Buda has this indoor thing,
They did do Shrek outside, you know.
and we get to do, yeah, because they got an amphitheater, but it seems like they're doing more stuff indoors. And we kind of calling them working on doing outdoor things that might be offering something different than what they have, just go out there, right? But
I don't
now,
personally want to do outdoor things, like,
And
I
I
would
also,
be in charge of that.
I also want to offer you this, if you're still interested in possibly using the PAC, I've been talking a lot with them. If you use students from Hayes, you will get a 50% nonprofit discount in renting that facility. So if there's any way that Hayes schools can be involved and their students can be involved, whether it's set production, passing out flyers, seating people, however they can be involved, that might be something that you could do before spring, still push it out for a few more months so you have more time to plan it. but look at it in the pack instead of outside. That's a
Yeah,
conflict
we
too with
totally
weather,
talked about
just
that.
everything.
The size of the audience was the issue.
I don't know how many thousand people.
Yeah, it's a lot, and then we said that like it
Well,
was,
nobody's ever there, and it's never.
yeah, that's
No
what
matter
she,
what you go
We
through,
have
it's gonna be
3 middle
happening.
schools and it's like all the band kids that are here and the whole place feels still.
yeah, that's what we discussed last
Okay.
time, like that it just would be a
Get
deterrent.
over that, the fact that it's not gonna be full, that's okay. 'Cause it's-
Yeah.
Even if 10 people are there, you're inside and you're doing what you want, you're never gonna fill it up.
I was just there for meetings and they closed the whole top section, so just, it was more intimate. We were all, so we were making sure we were paying attention. We were all sitting down in nice ones.
All right,
But I guess, again, just to go back to what I said, is my concern is that we're putting in all this effort and the council is gonna turn it down, and it's not something that's wanted in time, so.
I just wanted to make,
go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to say, you might want to talk to the people at Inspired Minds about how their theater program started. But I will tell you, it started with a flyer that I saw here at the Kyle Library, and I let lots of my friends know that it just said, if you're interested in starting at our local theater, show up at a meeting. There was a meeting here, and I texted all my friends, and they were excited to show up. But a lot of people I knew started it, and they just formed it, and their first performance was actually at Leland High School. So they just formed it from the ground of yeah, just, and I think you can do this, just, yeah, maybe not think so far out in the future, and just figure out what interest there is and figure out how to do it.
and I also just wanted to throw into just that idea of, I don't do theater, but I have a child that has a degree in theater, and putting a play together in 6 weeks is really kind of doable. Like, people pick a play, they.
Because let's say we start in March.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it doesn't take that long. I mean, you maybe like 2 months, 3 months. I mean, it's just in terms of watching what people do with theater. The general, I mean, they make a season, like Zach Theater will pick the season like a year ahead of time or 2 years ahead of time, but they don't start rehearsing until 6 weeks, 8 weeks before. So I mean, the time that we're talking about from someone who has seen shows start rehearsing and go up in 6-8 weeks. I mean, it is, I think the time frame is reasonable. If
Which
If
one?
she-
The September one or the?
yeah, I mean, I don't think for someone who has been up close and personal with a kid that's doing theater, like, I don't think that's an unreasonable time frame. If Brooke was able to determine that the resources were available in terms of actors and in terms of it, I mean, I just have seen shows go up a lot faster than from now till September. I mean, just to give perspective in the theater world. Yeah.
All right, so what do we want to do? We're not throwing out the idea. The idea is that we're gonna try to go ahead and keep that timeline that we had in September. We want to push it back to spring and try to use an amphitheater, because we're still gotta look for a venue. So what do we want to do? What's saying?
My reasoning for the amphitheater, but I hear, Brooke, your concerns on like it being outdoor versus indoor. My just thing is just using the resource and like an easier lift for you than having to find a venue, because I feel like that's gonna probably be the most burdensome.
I think so
and
too.
harder
I know
part.
Cap is already booked.
Yeah, and so I feel
Like
like,
something small in the building over here in the square though, when we have a boat show, I mean, that seems like it could be possible.
I haven't been there.
yeah.
We have to check that schedule for
We have
this
to
year.
check any schedule.
But we have to check, that schedule is pretty tight though. They start off in November for the whole year, so it's possible.
And sorry, just in the amphitheater, since we're kind of like ahead of it, it's newer, we would have more leeway and more.
And it's a
So
new
that's,
thing.
yeah, so that, and then the new, that would draw people. But I understand it is probably a lot harder to do it
come
outside.
outside and do all of that than it is inside, but it is possible.
But I just see it from the point of the Zilker Theater, the Hillside Theater does really well here, even, and it's in the middle of summer, and it still does well, so it's like, I just see it like that, I feel like that would be a little bit less burdensome if we have like a solid menu already versus like
No,
having a big shift down here, and just you provided a lot of great points about the pack, like feeling too empty. So I don't know, I feel like maybe we could take it into consideration if, I don't know if like a decision necessarily needs to be made right now, maybe we could push a decision next month Or in between that time of like what looks better once you have like better research and stuff? Cause I feel like right now we kind of like brainstorm, but we don't have any like solid, like anything to really, and I know it takes a lot more than just.
Could you do this? Could you look at the idea of doing a play in an outdoor setting and doing a play in the indoor setting, and then we can have two to look at?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what the expectation of that would be.
So we're looking at doing a play with outdoor setting using the amphitheater.
It would be pretty much the same thing, it would just be either outdoors or indoors.
I guess maybe she's asking
I
like
don't
pros and
remember
cons,
asking.
maybe she's like
If we
asking
don't
like,
have like an indoor venue, I can't price it out or figure that out if we don't know. like-
Well, okay, so contact the Parks Department and ask them about the Brook Center. There you go. There's an indoor venue. Contact the Parks Department, be the person you talk
You had
to.
just said that the schedule was so tight, so I.
Call
let's
them,
give them.
and you just said everybody's schedule is tight, so call them and ask them. How about that? And then you can come back to us and tell us next time if you found the venue, we're going with the equipment first. It's the only one I can think of at the top of my head right now that the city owns, that is not gonna be a.
I know they own other buildings around town.
Yeah, I mean, to do a play though?
I mean, it could be just, as a small room, it's like a glass box kind of theater instead of, it doesn't have to be like a massive stage.
I mean, even.
Does this room open to block?
Yeah, I mean, could we turn this into a black box?
No, that doesn't matter, I mean, that's not. Wasn't.
Yeah.
Always.
Mhm.
Large enough place for.
And I think technically it's Thursday.
Yeah,
So I guess if you just had like a little stage, and I want to say the city has a little stage.
Where?
But I want to say we used it for Christmas. They put something together for Christmas.
You mean that outdoor thing that we had at the park?
Yeah, but you know what, I'm sure
We rented it.
Parks and, okay. Well, here's the deal, if you guys are serious about it, then really it's probably, the next step would be to build a stage, like a little movable stage.
Right, yeah, no, I have, carpenters and set builders who are.
Yeah, so just add that into the cost, instead of trying to figure out where you do it, because you can just totally do it right here.
Raised stages, like,
Yeah.
that's not right. Thank goodness.
Would be for me.
Okay. So how about this, because we need to move on. You're going to, call the Parks Department, ask them about the Brook Center, see what they tell you about a particular date, because we talked about September. And you'll have something to go on, they need to tell you yay and nay, and then if there's a nay, ask them if they have anything that's available. All right, so are we still looking at trying to do this in September?
Maybe. I might change that in a second here when I
Because,
start talking.
all right, hold on then, all right, so let's go ahead and.
Flexible for sure, though.
Let's go ahead, well, let's do this, because we need to move on, we got a couple of things, what time is it? All right, I think we need to go ahead and put on the table to try to do something for September, or try to move it to the spring.
Can we decide that next time we see each other?
You want to start that next time for
Should
sure?
have some more information so we
All right,
can
let's
see
do
how
it.
that time frame works.
All right, we'll get more information, so at our next meeting, we can make a decision on whether we're gonna keep the same timeline we have, or we're gonna try to move it to the spring, and then we'll have a possible venue that we'll be able to use. All right? Okay, moving on, let's get to Ms. Farrell. You're
Okay.
next.
So, the art festival, the more I was talking with Parks and Rec and just trying to figure out how to piggyback off of stuff they've already got going, and the space for the Chalk Festival downtown, it just doesn't seem like that is the right location. However, I talked with the person that's in charge of renting out the pack, and they have dates in September. Now, they'll be pushing it back a little bit further than what we talked about. But we could use the backyard, which is next to the Veterans Park, as the vendors area where all the tents and tables could be set up. Parks and Rec actually owns the land that's right next to the Veterans Park if we need that for any reason. So we probably wouldn't have to pay to use that part since the city of Kyle already owns it. The parking lot is perfect for the Chalk Festival because it's huge, it's already divided into spaces. We can have people up in there doing their chalk pieces all day, voting, whatever, that part will those details are still yet to come. But, so then in that turnabout, we can have lines of food trucks that people can eat, they can listen to music. The man that runs it says a lot of times they set the bands and things up on that porch area where you walk into the PAC. He also said that if we have Hayes students involved, we can get a 50% nonprofit discount.
So my son's in the theater department.
So Hayes, like the bands performing, mariachi, whoever, we can even bring bands in from the community, totally opens it. I don't know, you're into the music part of it. So instead of just piggybacking it off of something Parks and Recs is doing, I propose this is ours. And we do it at the PAC. The police can monitor traffic in between where Texarkana parking is and that parking. I don't think we'll need a whole lot for the chalk contest. I really have to go count the spaces and just look at it. I do have concerns from the man that rents that out. His name is Adam. One thing was that we would have to probably power wash all the chalk away at the end of the festival. Yeah,
That's gonna be beautiful.
I know,
Last
but they
time.
said that they need to have it, and the only thing that they were worried about is the integrity of the Veterans Park, just to make sure that, you know, nothing's blowing into it or anything like that. So, those are pretty much it. The dates that the PAC is available for the outside area is September 23rd and September 30th, still within this time frame. Like spring and all that stuff is just totally booked up already. And talking Parks and Rec, they kind of already have their own agenda for their events. Like, it's just kind of real hard to get someone to kind of vibe with me on it. So when I was at the PAC, I just got that idea and I started talking to people and just kind of seeing what you guys thought about it. We still have lots of time. I still have my little baggie here with all the vendors' business cards that I've been collecting, and vendors have still been asking, when is it? If you need help, let me know. I'm super excited about this. So what do you guys think?
So what day did you say September?
Well, it would be on the 23rd or the 30th, and we would need a deposit of $373.13 to secure that date for us with the PAC. And then can we go to council and ask for small amounts of our budget for one project instead of the full enchilada?
That's what we're
Okay, so if we don't know like how much we need all together, but we know we need this for the deposit, can we just go ask for that part, right?
Well, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, because that was my proposal. We were gonna submit a few things at a time.
Okay, and also, is this within our fiscal year? Is it like end of September is the last day?
Yeah, October 1st is the beginning of the new fiscal year. So
Okay, so if we sneak it in September, we still can pull this off?
I think that's pretty cool.
September
Especially, yeah.
And with the artist reception, we can even get possibly more vendors or people
Yeah.
involved from the community.
I just like that it has a lot of different components to it. It has art, music,
Yeah.
and then maybe we can even put photography in there since it's gonna get washed away. Have a photographer
Yes.
take pictures or whatever.
So
then it-
I am
Go ahead.
sorry. The only thing that I can think of, I love it and I love that area. I think that's golden. I go walk over there all the time. The huge Round Rock world renowned chalk walk, which is essentially the same thing, is typically the first weekend of October. So as long as we know that we're going to be competing with them, and I understand that yes, it's Round Rock and it's far away from here, but they do pull people in from all over Central Texas because of the way they run it and the competition and all of that. So that would be the only component we would want to think about how we positioned that. But I think it's great. I definitely vote the end of September is a great time to do it.
Well, the reason why I chose September is I'm trying to get it in also before the end of our fiscal year. And the PAC books out a year in advance, and these were dates that were available for them. So I feel like Round Rock is still pretty far away from Kyle.
I think that's the point of doing this too.
I
is
think so too, to
draw-
bring it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to, just the first one. Then we can get bigger and try to bring, like, make it huge and maybe set it on a different weekend that it doesn't conflict with other cities, but.
Okay. All right, then we're gonna talk about budget in just a few minutes. and then we can.
And he has us booked from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. with setup and tear down. I was thinking it would be a 10 to 4 event. So we have 3 hours to get everything set up. Maybe the artists come at 9:30 or something to get started. And then we've got a couple hours to tear down at the end.
Sorry, tell me again, is this one day each weekend?
No, it's just one day.
Oh, so it's not the 23rd?
Or, no, yes. I mean, he said we could have both, but I think one's enough.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, 'cause I was like, oh, 2 weekends?
And it includes custodial, it includes the security officers, everything we need is there. The only other things I think we need to talk to is Kyle PD to provide some traffic. And if we think it's gonna be big enough, even talking about using school buses to have people park at Hayes High School and be bussed down, if we think it's gonna get that big, that can come in a little
I
bit
know,
of time.
Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, I think when we talked to the PAC a while back, they said that you could actually rent security guards for them.
They provide a security officer for 6 hours, but we're gonna need more for traffic.
Okay.
Yeah, to cross the street and just, if we do the school bus idea, it just, I don't think it's big, but who knows, I don't know.
Okay,
And it's on a Saturday, so the doctor's offices will be closed
yeah, so that's.
in
more
both the
market.
parking
That's what I was
across the
thinking.
street and at, ARC right there next door.
Okay, all right, what's everybody's thoughts? We're looking at September.
I didn't play, but it was the only.
No, it's not something that happened, we should definitely do it. I mean, because the other one can be flexible, like this cannot be flexible, this has 2 specific dates.
I like it, because I feel like it's like a lot of what we've talked about, where we've had like a similar goal for multiple times, and if that works out, it feels like there's like a lot of components we can kind of incorporate that we've been wanting to.
And this is just the base. Yeah, this is just the base. And just like Brooke, I'm gonna need help too to get
Yeah.
all of it going. So once we get the base of it set and we figure it out, then I definitely be pulling people in to help do everything.
What more information do you need to give us? We know that there's a possibility of 2 dates. We've got a time frame from point to close. We're gonna look at budget in just a minute.
Okay.
And, which I think we'll be able to do that.
Okay.
And what other questions do you guys have?
Yes.
Question. So I went to Layman several times, and their parking lot's amazing too. Has that been something that you guys think about, maybe asking the school if you could, I know when we do our food drives, that we use the Layman parking lot, I don't know if you've ever been to it, it's like.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 areas.
I coach cheer for
So
some.
I didn't know if that was a viable location, if that was something you guys would be interested in, because there would be a parking area, and then there was another whole area. Like there's 2 parking lots within that.
I have to go check it out. I just felt like the PAC was a little bit more central. Maybe Layman's a little bit more central. There's a huge population of Kyle on the other side of the highway. I can definitely look into it. I need to ask him how long he can hold this for us. And I need to also ask Layman what their charge would be to rent a school facility.
And the pack though, I like that it has, like you're saying, if you can have that,
Yeah.
that gives us
And
leeway to park.
I do like that it's the new park is right there too, because I don't think a lot of people have really gone and experienced it yet, unless you knew about the opening and things, or if you live in that area, you walk the track or
That's
whatever.
right up the way from Laverne.
It is, it's right next to the
Right
river.
next door to it. So.
You look to the left, you see the pile of dirt.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
they showed us a fishing hole.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, I can look into Layman, I just know that I've got all the prices, and this also comes with custodial services, it
No, I
comes
was
with
just
security,
curious.
it comes with technicians to help us with all of the electricity and everything else that we would need to get things set up. It comes with an event manager,
No.
and I think that this
You can use it.
I think maybe the next year we could probably do Layman, because it might even be bigger and we need that bigger space, but the PAC feels like it's big enough but not too big. So it won't look empty with all the vendors and stuff.
What's the total cost for everything
$1,492.50.
for the day?
Correct. From
That's
7 a.m. to
pretty
6
good.
p.m. with all of those people included. 2 technicians, 1 security officer, a PAC event manager.
Can I just
tentative
ask,
discount with group of Hayes.
can I just ask a question that may be obvious, but I didn't, maybe I wasn't listening very well. So it's all gonna be outside, right?
We won't be in the pack.
Okay, got it.
So when I'm gonna clean it up.
Gonna get it committed. That part,
But I'm just
those
wondering
are
if
like,
like water there.
Oh, they have power washers.
yeah, they have everything. I mean, they've got hoses and stuff that can connect.
Wait, when they said power washing, they got the stuff for us to do power washing. We
No,
don't have to have.
we don't get it.
We-
I don't have to run it. I've got a troop of folks that'll come and clean our parking lot for us.
That sounds like no, I'm not worried about that. That's a great thing for a service project for some high school groups to do.
That's true,
Yeah,
too, and
sure.
they need hours and it'll be within the
Yes,
school
ma'am.
time.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then it counts towards our.
Program and everything.
Are you?
I'm gonna bring that down.
Okay.
Yes, we could definitely use the Hayes students as part of the cleanup crew. I mean, a good way.
Okay. I like this idea. I like the idea because of the different prospects that we're all bringing together and using that area for them. That price, you can't beat that with a stick.
No.
I'm sure, are you sure? That's what I'm
I
saying.
promise, look, it's an official quote and everything. It's email.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a draft.
Okay.
but it's-
So my only concern, or like, what I would wanna talk about is if it rains, that's the only thing, is if it's forecasted or what's kind of like our backup plan. I don't think we can, but just like, should we also have like a pot of like, if we need tents or something?
Well, the tents will be up for vendors anyway. We're gonna
Okay.
have to get the white tents. So I mean, there will be costs that come with this,
Right.
just like how Parks and Rec has their white tents.
Right.
They set them up for the vendors.
If there's a.
I'd like to have a table and a tent set up for each vendor.
There's
that
gonna
goes
be,
on.
if there's gonna be rain, there's not gonna be no chalk art.
Well, that's what I'm saying, cause we rent one of those big, like, big tents for like weddings and stuff, like, you know.
But the talk, but
Like 10 by 20 canopies for people.
Yeah, exactly, and to
have them
just go
stacked
use
up.
that, I mean, that,
It's
just as a
something
plan
to
B
do.
if it's raining, I mean, you
either
never know
that or
when it's like
it's
that.
it's canceled if there's rain.
I mean, I think the festival could still go on, just the chalk part would have to.
Yeah, I don't know, because they do, I'm just saying, they have those huge canopies for weddings that they use, that might be an option for a plan B that we could like budget, and then if we don't use it, we just don't have that budget, or that.
I could look into the cost of
Yeah,
that.
I was thinking you were going down a row of sidewalk though, right? If you canopy it, it'd be, everybody would be in an area.
Right, well,
I thought it was a parking
we're
lot.
not gonna be on the sidewalk, we're gonna be in the parking lot. So the
In the
artists
parking lot.
have the opportunity and space to work. People can come and walk through and see, watch what they're doing. But then the people can still walk on the sidewalk and get to the food and the vendors and all that
Okay,
stuff.
all right, that's where I didn't hear that part, okay. All right, other thoughts? Liz, Melanie,
No, I think it's a great idea.
Idea, Stephanie?
I was like, please, guys,
I just think you're excited to have some everybody. Vicky? You still there?
Yes. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, this was on our list of one of our projects to do, for this fiscal year, so looks like we're moving forward with it.
Okay, should I tell this man to hold which one? 23rd, 30th? What do you guys think?
I was looking at the
I
two
mean,
dates.
because I know him, I'm sure he'll hold it for a little while for us to get the deposit in.
So we got the 23rd, there's 5 Saturdays in this month. So that would be the 4th Saturday, the 23rd, and then 30th would be the 5th Saturday.
She said the Round Rock thing was like October 1st, so maybe the 30th is a little too close if we were worried about that.
And then I
The
was
only
looking at, I was looking at
30th.
the Child Market Day, which is the 2nd Saturday. So we went with the 4th Saturday, and then be like a break, right? So the 23rd, that way we've got 2 Kyle events not real close to each other, the 2nd Saturday, the 4th Saturday.
One question though, when does the school year start in September? Cause that's like.
School year doesn't start in September, it starts in
School
the
year
middle of
started in
August.
August.
Okay, August,
They
okay,
can
so
do it
we're,
for a while.
cause I just know sometimes if it's during that time,
This
it's
is,
like.
these are the dates that don't have conflicts starting.
Oh, I know, I'm just saying like as far as like beginning and, I'm just saying, yeah,
I like
beginning
the
of school
23rd.
year, I know it can be like hectic, but yeah, if
We'll
it's
already be
fair,
Monday.
Oh,
then
yeah, girl, no, not, you thinking of, no, I'm thinking back to school.
I think our first day is like August 16th.
Oh, wow, okay.
My first day is like the 4th of August.
Oh, wow, okay, good then, yeah. I just feel it's like a quiet period.
I like the
when
23rd, guys.
it's like.
That's the fourth Saturday of September, the 23rd. Please don't.
I think
think
the 23rd is also great from the standpoint of it gives us 7 days to clear out any funds so we don't carry over into the next fiscal year. So anything residual, because I'm afraid if we do it on the 30th, there's always going to be one bill that hangs around that we won't be able to process and we'll have to bump it to our next budget.
And
All right, good one. Okay.
Is our budget still 65?
Yeah.
Okay.
6,500?
Okay.
Oh, I was like, what in the world?
I know my arts director told us for our budgets to spend every dime, because then she can go back and ask for more the next year.
Okay, all right, so go forward with that, keep us posted where we need
Yes.
to be going.
Okay.
Seems though the biggest thing is gonna be the PR
Yes,
for the vendors, getting vendors there
Yep.
and getting the artists. That's the big thing that's gonna have to be worked on.
and I think that March event is gonna be awesome to invite more people to be vendors too. Because it's still like
Yeah, but.
months away
Why
from
wouldn't you
such.
have the communications team?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll just send it to them and be like, make it.
No, no, we actually send them stuff and they put flyers and stuff together, like, no, they just need to know about it. Okay, we're good there. All right, next I have on the agenda is real quick, we're going to Stephanie with the MLK celebration report.
I think we're supposed to talk about the reception, community reception.
Oh, number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yes, indeed. Brooke, reception.
So here's the budget for our reception. I reached out to a couple, like beverage dealers and caterers in the area. And then I added in a few things here and there. All the places I call out tables and chairs are not gonna rent us 5 tables and linens. Or they're charging $150 delivery fee to come out here. So, and set them up and take away. So our best bet, if we want tall tables, is to buy them for $50 a pop on Amazon and keep them as part of our repertoire. Or
Not that kind.
they're tall.
Not cocktail
tables.
No.
Yeah, no, we don't. It's a scratch cocktail tables. We're not worried about it because I talked to the caterer about doing only handheld finger foods that would be picked up and eaten, no plates, no nothing like that. So we didn't have to worry about things.
How many cocktail drinks do you think you get?
Pardon me? Oh, like 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
They won't come out for less than 30. Most places are like.
No, I get that, you buy it.
Oh, 5. Yeah, I was thinking like 5.
Would we have a place to store them, guys?
We have a storage problem in the city of Kyle. We don't have a lot of room for
So I guess
storage.
we'd have to call Parks and Rec to see if they've got a place to store them if we want 5, which is.
Or if you store them at Public Works too. They got a lot of room
Do
there.
they?
I feel like we can use them again.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
I can check to see if they,
The cheap ones are $50 on Amazon, the more expensive ones are like 89. So if you wanna if you wanted to buy something durable and long lasting, you might wanna not just pick the cheapest Amazon one. So I just throwing that out there. I have 600 thinking, I would put 300 thinking 5 tables, $50 a pop somewhere.
I think we could find a place to put them.
So, and then I've done their decorations, I got all started, and I wrote down set of business candles, like balloons, paper things, whatever, but I just threw in $75 for making like fun decorative pieces for the center of those 5 tables that may or may not exist. And then publicity, looking at getting graphic artists to design not only the invitation, but also a informal flyer that we can hand out while we're there, because I think that at our reception, it's really important that we hand out information about the art commission itself, so we need to have something nice. And wouldn't it be great to incorporate a graphic design artist to make them be? I don't know, I haven't done that necessarily.
Oh, I
But I put in budget there for that, and then I put in $300 roughly for photocopying, printing, doing nice print, having enough of them done that we can distribute everywhere. Food caterer is $950, that's for 3 savory dishes and 2 different types of cookies for 300 people, plus they come and serve. We don't have to do any of the dishware or anything like that, so that's full encompassing everything, plus 1 person to serve. They just stand there with the food and help make sure that it's on the plates and it's organized and no one's having to do that part of it.
drinks are broken down on the bottom left, water, sodas, beer, red wine, white wine. I figured that's nice and easy and simple. And then, supplies, I just added in a little bit of money, and then linens for the tables, we would need to grab some fabric. I don't think that it'd be too hard to grab some fabric and drape them. The linens seem to be pretty inexpensive, online too, so. Ice, couple bags of ice, we need napkins, cups, paper towels, and name tags. Because I thought name tags are a really important part, of doing it that way. And then I threw in $100 just for giggles, because I thought it would be fun to do a raffle, because people always feel happy when they win something. So even if it was like, maybe we had a couple T-shirts made for art commission, if we have a logo or something like that, that might be kind of a fun way to like just raffle off something that, or we could buy the like coffee mugs and put our label on them with the cry cut, whatever, you know, label or whatever you wanted to do. There's a bunch of different little ways to do that. So I just threw in $100 there for like figuring out how to do stuff.
Thank you. Is that all we need?
So the total is 2526. Yes. Is where we, so, and thanks so much for the copy. Thank you for making it look fantastic.
Let's do it. When we get to the budget discussion in just a minute, we can just increase that. I'm gonna pass this out to Smith.
Okay,
So, yeah.
again, like we might want to, again, depending on the tables that we want, that might be a little bit more expensive than the 300 I have budgeted there. So I don't know about like creating leeway in different places. So, yeah. That's it. We're done.
Yeah. I could probably say we could probably just go ahead and maybe make this 3,000.
Yeah, that would probably be the best way. And then if we have any left over, we can do some more like fun raffle gifts because.
Yeah. You'll probably be closer anyway with no change.
By the time your eyes are ice, we will do extra linen or something. So.
Okay. So that'd be my only comment, is just to change it to 3,000.
Okay, yeah, I think that's also a really great idea.
I agree.
Thank you.
All right.
And I can check with Public Works just to verify that we have a place to put the
Yeah,
tables.
we have 5 tall cocktail tables. Is there a spot where we can put them?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, technically, the city's buying them. We would be using them for somebody else at another time.
Yeah, I'll
We know
check.
where they were.
Yeah, I mean,
It does say you use it for other things too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it should only take up like this much once they're folded.
Folded, yeah. Okay. All right, let's move forward with this one.
Sorry, I'm gonna jump in on you there.
This one, okay, because this is gonna be one of the first budget things that we got coming up, that we're gonna send to city council, okay? All right, so we got that laid out the way we needed to. Other questions about the reception?
When is the plan date?
March 4th at the training go.
That's already
For 3 hours from 4 to 7.
Could we possibly look into,
If
if we have a little bit of,
Go ahead.
if we have a little bit of leeway, could we possibly look into adding like maybe some live music, like a guitarist or somebody?
Yeah, we would kind of, remember we talked about that a little bit when we looked at the Rail Depot, maybe just having like somebody with like a stand-up bass or something. No singing,
I mean, I can find a band.
but just like chill.
Not a band, you got that much space.
Yeah, but just like
Small,
a
it would be
band.
like a trio tops,
Yeah.
maybe a duet.
Yeah, duet sounds perfect. Like a chill,
Might be a little
Yeah.
closer.
I think that would be a nice incorporation, if we're bumping it a little bit.
There'd be no way we
I
can,
can find somebody for about $300. To be honest, if 300 is good, I can find someone.
that would be,
Like a
okay, I
duet,
increased it to
something.
3,000, and that would be $475 we got to work with. Going from the 26 to 3,000, that's like $475 to work with. And you're saying what, $300 for a band?
For a band. For 3 hours.
For $300 for
I
music.
could do like what we want, like some nice, like acoustic music. Do you want
I just think it
No
might be.
stuff, just chill. Just
Yeah.
some quiet in the background. It's
Yeah,
not really a focus, it's just like.
the element, yeah.
like symphony kind of, like not symphony, like a
Like a little
Jazz
cello
or
jazz,
jazz,
yeah.
Smooth and nice
Yeah.
and calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And see who might just be interested in doing it for free, because they can get the publicity.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's a connection, or just like donation based too, of like.
And musicians are artists as well, right?
Yeah, and I feel like artists should get compensated for their time and efforts.
I had an idea about the raffle is what if you, this is just something my husband used to do as an artist where at a thing, at an event, they could raffle off a piece of art by that person.
Well, we don't know them yet.
We don't know them yet,
This is a
okay.
get together to get to
Okay,
meet the artists. in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
community.
We have talked about displaying some people's art there, but I feel like maybe we should do like another, like we talked about in the beginning, one of our goals as a commission being kind of continually having a reception so that people have spaces to meet. So maybe next year we kind of open it up and ask people, everybody bring one piece of art and we'll do a show and have a reception.
and then raffle off like,
Raffle
yeah,
off,
okay, yeah.
Okay, all right,
I like that.
let's go forward with it then. All right, at art reception, we needed that, got this piece here on expenses. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We've got the date, we've got the time, we've got the budget. All right, moving on. Okey dokey, then, all right, let's go, Stephanie, real quick, give us a MLK update.
So this past Saturday, we had our MLK event and we had 9 students total from all 3 high schools and cities come out and give poems, prose speeches about their perspectives on social justice in our community. And it was truly a great event. I think it was really inspirational for everyone there. We saw all generations participating. We had the council chamber full. And the last time I checked on Facebook, the Facebook Live, they had 900 views.
Oh,
So it
wow,
was
that's
really
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then we had them on Spectrum. So I don't know how many people viewed that, but definitely a lot of people.
That's
And
great.
yeah.
Big success.
Definitely. All right. Thank you, Ms. Stephanie. Yeah, it was absolutely a fabulous event.
Do you have photos to put up on our website?
Yes, we have
Okay,
photos.
I can make sure, I'm gonna make.
They have them on Facebook and they emailed me like the file, so I can send it to y'all.
Cool. Okay, so
And we had a real nice, real cute little write-up in the paper. Was it today? Oh, there it is right there. We had an actual write-up in the Pastry Press about the event. So worked out very nicely. Okay, thank you, Stephanie, for that quick little update. All right, Liz, anything you got for us on the website?
No, I wanted to see, I know last time I handed it out to everybody and some people made a couple of like tweaks here and there. I know for sure now that we have the name, I'm gonna go back and redo everything before I send it to Xander, but wanted to just open it up to see if anybody had any other feedback before I submit.
Do we have an actual logo?
No, not a logo, this is for the website.
Okay, sorry.
And I know last time we kind of like, people kind of looked, but no, we said that we would come back because we'd have the short last meeting.
All right, moving right along.
But there was an artist spotlight
Yes,
session?
yeah. There's an artist spotlight, we said each quarter we'll highlight a local
And
artist.
it's past, sorry, oh, here it is. Do we have like past events? Like,
No, but that's what I was saying, I think I'm gonna build in like a little section here for past events.
even if we just had one photo and like a blurb, quick blurb next to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna add in the MLK photo. And then, if this is kind of finalized, and especially now that we have the updated information, I'll send all this to Xander, to get that in the meeting.
Okay,
Looks good.
thank you, ma'am, and thanks to everybody that had a chance to send back some some feedback to Liz. I know that a couple people did send something to her, so we appreciate that. Okay, we are gonna move on. We need to talk about the National Fitness event that Parks Department wants us to work on. So you have the colored pages in front of you. And also have something that says call for artist qualifications. Those two are gonna work together. And then you have yet a third piece that says example of criteria. So what I'm gonna do is first pull up the call for artist qualification that has the City of Kyle logo on it. I'm gonna start there. Okay? All right, so the project is called a National Fitness Court. And there is a description of basically what it is. To summarize it for you, Parks and Recs got a grant to, well, they got a grant to do what's called a national fitness campaign. It is actually going to be a fitness court, like an outdoor gymnasium that is going to be placed over by Burleson, close to where the flea market is, when all the dust settles. They applied for this 2 years ago. They just found out that they received the grant to do this. They have everything that they need, but they want our involvement is the criteria for looking at the potential applications from the different artists they want us to come up with. They also want us to judge the applications when they come in, and then they want us to recommend 1 or 2 possible artists to City Council so that they can then select someone that's going to do this mural. It is going to be a mural. Here are some examples of what murals have looked like at the other fitness courts around the country. And so this is a national competition that Parks and Recs received the grant for. They're very happy about that. And they said, hey, instead of having us decide on the artist, let's let the Arts and Cultural Commission pick the artist. But with that in mind, what they need is from us is criteria. What will we be looking for from this particular mural? What are we looking for overall? So these 3 pages is kind of the description of what the NFC is saying that they're looking for. They want us to give them a couple of bullets of what we might want to be looking for from particular applications. And what I did is I went and looked at a couple of call to artist examples of criteria, which are these pages that I gave you, as what other cities have said. We're looking for the following. And you know,
I'll figure out what I need here.
so anyway, I went to a couple of different cities and said, oh, look what San Marcos said they were looking for. Look what Augusta said they were looking for. Look what Austin said they were looking for. And I originally believed that we had to write the whole letter for the call of artist qualifications. So the last 2 pages is what I wrote up. But we don't need that. The communications office and parks department did that for us already. They just sent it to me today. And they said, no, you don't have to do all that. All we need you to do is on this section right here where it says insert criteria, that's what we're going to be doing. What are we asking for? What are we looking for when we ask the artist to submit us the application? Now, the artist will get all of this information, the final word, what it's going to look like at the end, what the final deadline is, what the application is, what's the criteria for the size. All of that has been done already. What specifically they need from us is, what does this criteria need to look like? So for instance, if you look on where it says examples of criteria, San Marcos. San Marcos has 2, 4, 6 bullets, and they said evaluation criteria from the artist teams will be evaluated on the following. Previous experience in developing and installing a similar piece of artwork, proven ability to work within a team, artistic merit and ability as evidence in images submitted, evidence working with materials suitable adapted to outdoor environment, demonstrating ability to meet project deadlines, quality and competencies of the submission. So there's a couple of them here, and I said, well, you know what, let me go pull a few, and we can look through all of these and see which one of these might strike our fancy as we put together, say, 5, 6 bullets of what the artist needs to give us in order to look at as we're trying to make a decision as to which 1 to 2 artists do we think should go to the next round, which next round, by the way, would be saying, here's City Council folks. We looked at these artists who submitted, And we came up with these two as the best because they met our criteria, what we're looking for. And, you know, we like their work and here's why we like their work, et cetera, et cetera. And then those 5 to 6 bullets will then go on this letter right here in this section that says criteria, which will be in a section all of itself, by the way. So that's what they need us to do. Now, we've got a quick turnaround for this. They want to send out this letter, this information, February 1st. And then they want, it's going to be open February 1st through February the 22nd.
We just need to pick 6 bullets.
We need to pick 6 bullets.
All right, I will
Wait,
say.
but before
Hold
we
on,
start,
hold
I
on.
have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Is the area historic at all or anything, like as
It's
far as?
not, it's going to be something that it's a, right now it's like trees and stuff like that. They're going to tear down the Village Park.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's
Well,
part of the
I'm
greater
just
plan.
curious if like, if it's like a specific like historical area, is that something we want to incorporate, have the artists incorporate as part of their? I saw this San Antonio and I really like this.
Yeah, but we have to look more at the guidelines of what the NFC folks are asking for.
It's like a work
Probably want it for fitness.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Right, I'm just saying that if it's in an area that would want to incorporate, like, and here it has, artist misuse or designated community as inspiration, so I didn't know if like that was something we would want to like.
Yeah,
include as
have
part
you
of the
seen this
criteria.
area I'm talking about? Do you know
No.
where, you know, off of 35 with a flea market currently?
Yeah, is it the roundabout?
Yeah.
It's that area that is all trees and stuff that has to be landscaped.
Okay,
Is this
okay.
gonna be like an exercise court, or is this gonna be like a skateboard park? Like they have
Exercise.
in San Marcos?
So
Exercise.
probably like pickleball and all that.
Exercise, yes, ma'am.
But not pickleball, what I'm looking at here is this long fitness, is a long piece like this that we're looking at? Yeah, it's gonna be like different areas where you can go to the spot.
This is gonna kind of be like the end of it, and then you're gonna have this open courtyard with all of this permanent equipment in it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just wanted to get an idea.
Did you read the guidelines from NFC?
yes.
Okay. They
We,
want more than this from us?
they want, well,
But that's for this submission?
this is for submission, for us to actually choose an artist. Once we select an artist based on what they give us in regards to pictures and whatnot,
Yeah,
that person then goes to this.
okay, but it also says the artwork must match the selected color, power coded RAL
That's for
color.
the person who was selected.
So we want to say things like, we want them to be able to meet a deadline, we want them to have, the ability to work within a team, we want them to have, carry personal liability insurance, we want them to be able to, not have exhibited this work piece in the past.
That's the kind of thing we want. We don't have to worry about the liability insurance part. That was just part of this one.
That's
That's what they need liability, like.
That's covered in once the final person has been decided.
That
There's a
will be
whole
covered
other
for
set for
them?
that, yeah.
Okay.
What do we want the artists to submit to us to look at their work and say, I like this better
Maybe
than
we should
this?
each pick our number one thing we think is important, and there's like 6 of us,
So
so why don't we see what happens then?
Can we email it by Friday?
that's what I'm
No,
thinking.
pick it right now. Which one's
I'm
the-
thinking you might want to take some time, look through this. Again, this is a lot of information, so I'm saying, take a look at this piece of what the actual thing's gonna be. Please go online and look at it, because they have actual pictures of what the whole thing looks like, right? So take
Is
a
there a
look at
way that we can send that to Vicky?
that. Say it again?
We can send that to Vicky?
She has it.
She got it.
She's got it, yeah, she got it. All right, so what I need you to do for me is take a look at these, examples of criteria that I gave you, these examples. You might go find something else in between now and then, okay? And say, oh, you know what, I came up with a whole new one. That's fine. Send them to me. I'm going to then put them together. Let's say everybody come up with 2 bullets. All right, everybody come up with 2 bullets of what we would look for in an artist. And they actually, I found the word muralist, right? Because this is gonna be a mural. So what are we interested in this muralist giving to us, for us to take a look at, for us to decide that this person might be the right person for this job? And mind you, that once that person has been selected, there's a whole other set of criteria that they will go through with the Parks Department based on the criteria from this group. We're just trying to narrow it down. Instead of them going through 25 people, we're gonna say, here's two that we thought that did move forward. So read through this, read through the piece that the city gave us, just to give you some background information. Take a look at these 3 pages. Again, go online and look at what this whole thing is gonna look like, because you will see what the mural is gonna look like in like 18 other cities. And then from there, send me those 2 bullets that you have. And I would like to say, send me, because let me tell you what the timeline is. The timeline is, I pretty much told you.
Said Feb 1 to have it
Yeah.
included for the fall.
I need you to have to me, today's the 19th, by the 27th,
Cool.
next Friday, 27th. Hand me 2 bullets by the 27th. If not, I'm gonna send you an email saying, where are my 2 bullets?
Sounds good.
And then I'm gonna put them all together and I'm gonna send it back to you. We're just gonna do this online.
Perfect.
Okay.
Love it.
All right, and then from there, we'll be ready for me to send it to them on the 30th. So I may send you something over the weekend and say, hey, on the 30th to the communications folks, say, here's our criteria, Parks Department, here's the criteria. And then from there, we will then be getting the applications on the 23rd. Now notice that the 23rd is gonna be the week after our February meeting. So I'll put together some kind of schedule of how we're gonna look at the applications. And then we're gonna make our decision. We need to then have everything ready to go to submit to city council so they can make a decision of our 2 finalists for their meeting on the 21st. So by the 17th, we're gonna know who we're gonna be submitting and everything. Okay, and then the 21st, at the meeting for city council, we will be on the agenda to say, here's the finalists of what we came up with, and I'll be working with Mariana at the Parks Department to tell them who we came up with. All right, and that's our timeline. And then from there, after we select who we want to do the presentation of the 2, the next thing we'll have is when they have the opening, we'll be there in the stands as the Arts and Cultural Commission. All right. Okay,
So
questions?
what's this website that you're saying to go to?
It is on
Is
here.
it on here somewhere?
It is.
I was looking for it, I can't find it. Sorry, I can't see it.
If you put in National Fitness Campaign, NFC.
Is that what it is, NFC?
See this little logo right here? Yeah, sure.
Oh, I see that little logo, you mean it's on that logo?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Extra hard.
I'm sorry, but I didn't get that.
Oh, girl, I'm telling you, I have to look at my computer too.
This is what it looks like.
All right.
NFC.org.
Oh, cool. Is it .com? I thought it was .org, or is it .com?
I don't know which,
Oh,
but
sorry.
either way. All right.
If you just put everything but the dot, whatever. it's fine, yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. It's just like outside.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so
You'll be doing the other
again, we
side.
have our job and I will see stuff from y'all on there. All right, moving on. All right, guys, it is 8:45.
I'm here for you.
Let me tell you, yes, what I said when I saw it.
I don't want to sound like, I mean, it's pretty fun. You get there and walk.
Okay, next we have, you want to talk about this, I'm gonna move that discussion on that East Side project, Brooke, to next meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Okay, and then, since next month is Black History Month, we got a couple of things we gotta talk about with that real quickly. We have, Simon Middle School, with our dear commissioner here, is going to do a Black History Month art display, student art display. It is going to be displayed at City Hall. And our illustrious Carol right here is working on it as we speak with her students. Got the go-ahead from city manager as a go to get this put up. Xander and I, and you and Xander and I will get together to get it actually up on the wall. And the idea is that by the 17th, when we have Peace and Progress, we have already had the art up on the wall. Communications will then be doing a big blitz about people coming down to City Hall to see the students' artwork. Actually, Jerry said, well, can't we get all the schools to do it? I said, not this quick, we can't. We're going to one school right now, because I know that person. Next year, we will look at doing something like this, where we actually get more schools involved, talk with Buda City Hall, they said, we want in. So it might be 2 city halls at the exact same time for the month of February next year, where we're gonna be displaying student art from schools around the Hayes, but anyway, so it's anything to students, I'm so pro of, okay? So anyway, just want y'all to know about that. We're working on the details of that now. We've got all of the T's crossed, I's dotted, et cetera, about getting this up and going. And we were talking about it was a 6, what day were we getting?
I'll come on the 10th.
The 10th.
To put the artwork.
We're gonna put it up on the 10th, it'll be ready for the
And
public to view on the 13th.
And
then
it'll
go the rest of the
be
month.
on display for 2 weeks because our district art show is on the 27th, so I have to go tear it all down on the 24th
There
and
we
pull
go.
some of those pieces for the district art show.
Anyway, big list to everybody about coming out and seeing the artwork from Simon Middle School students this year, next year and more. All right, wanted to let you know about that one. What the communications department is going to be doing a series of events on social media and Channel 10 to focus on African American, Black History Month, etc. And again, the Peace and Progress Dialogue is on the 17th, and that's actually going to be the Friday after we meet the next time, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we meet on the 16th. So anyway, just wanted to let everybody know what's going on with Black History Month. So we got called in to do MLK, then of course there was Black History Month. There's also Hispanic Heritage Month. There's also Indigenous Peoples Month, which is going to be in November. Let's be thinking about that, what that needs to kind of look like, because that's something that's going to have to come from us too. We got lots of help from parks, from communications, etc. What does the event need to look like overall is what we're going to kind of need to make some decisions on, and that's a cultural perspective of what we're doing. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Do you want to talk about the depot thing now? You want to wait till next month?
It's up to you. I got a couple dates, but I just need a contact person first, and then I can have more information about it.
Okay, we can do it next time. All right. There's an event that Tara and I were talking about, we're doing with the Railroad Depot, an artist event. They brought it to us and we said, sure, let's see if we can put it together. And we came up with a great plan. We'll have more details from you for the next meeting because we were looking at this thing happening in May, for the most part, okay? All right, next we have budget. You have with you this sheet, no you don't, I'm passing them on, I'm sorry. Here is a sheet that, what I did is I took the $65,000 and I broke it down. Take that, pass that down. One down. One more, one down. Okay. Now, this is a worksheet, guys. This is for us to say, yes, no, let's move on. Oh, we gotta change that. Oh, that's not that much. That's what we're doing with this, right? This is, as always, when I bring you something, I'm gonna give you a springboard to jump off of, and then for us to make some decisions on. We know, first of all, that the art reception got changed to $3,000.
Yeah, take that out of the theater, we're not gonna do $25,000 for a play, if we're not. doing
Hold
that.
on 1 second, we're gonna do that in just a minute. Okay, all right, so art reception is knocked up to $3,000, and we actually have something to work with, catering, rentals, et cetera, so we're good to go there. Now, the community theater one, the $25,000, what are you saying?
Yeah, I don't think that we're gonna need that much money, honestly, we're not doing that, and we're not doing like a really large thing. I'm thinking, to be honest, I don't know about an amphitheater, I've never put something together, I'm seeing a lot more sets having to be built for an amphitheater. So, but I definitely don't think we're gonna need 25,000. I really think that we can probably take like 10 of that off right now and
So
keep 15 and still feel pretty comfortable in that.
And I just have a quick question about that. If we don't do the play within the fiscal year, would that money still need to be,
We gotta use this on.
Yeah.
We'll find a way.
I'm sure we're all good at spending money.
I had millions, I had spent $6. All right, and then, so in looking at the art festival, that.
Yes, we will, because the rental's gonna be $3,000. I mean, it's like $2,900.
I propose we take the money from the theater and we put it into that,
Okay,
the 10,000.
So make it 15?
Theater and put 15 for the art festival.
Sounds good.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's freaking amazing.
No, she doesn't think that's a good idea.
That's awesome.
All right, then we have the Railroad Depot event that will give you more information about the next time. You see up before.
Yes, I see.
What do you think?
I'll see what money we're gonna use.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so the Railroad Depot will give you a lot more information on that. She has
Yes.
a couple more pieces of tidbits to get for that. We'll have that discussion at the next meeting. So for now, we'll just leave it as is. And then we have the art piece on the east side. We're just gonna hold off on that one right now. We're gonna talk about that the next time. The notice that I put on here, the sculpture garden at the public library, which I heard that you have a great idea about.
Yeah, I was just thinking, we have all of that space over there next to the butterfly garden. And if we're trying to attract artists, what's a better way than to have a place where people can come and see art and use the space that we already have purchased? So, people already walk out there to the butterfly garden, and they're walking around and seeing sculpture, and there's like a big space that we have.
Okay. I like the idea. Can you give us a little bit more information for the next time? We're gonna put this on the agenda, like how much space is out there, that kind of thing like that, because I thought it was a great idea when I first heard about it.
Yeah, I think it's some more details.
Okay, so I gave that one 10,000 for right now, okay? And then in looking at the cultural displays and overall, this was Juneteenth, Hispanic heritage, indigenous people. I gave that budget $5,000 for whatever we might happen to come up with at that particular point in time. And it looks like we just moved money around, we still equal $65,000 at this point.
Well, we gotta take two, wait, our problem is this, we
Oh,
gotta
you're
take
right.
two away from something.
Yeah, we do. And I'm gonna say, let's do the cultural display one, knock it down to 3,000. And that way that added that to the arts reception. That was easy. All right.
That's probably the easiest decision we've made.
Yeah.
All right, so what I would like to do at this point is we have the budget for the art reception, and we have the potential budget for the art festival. Let's work on getting these two to city council for approval so we can move forward with it.
Sounds good.
And so the other thing I want to let everybody know is, as you can see, we're gonna piecemeal this out. So then when the next two things come up, then we set that over to city council with full explanations and rationales and that kind of thing like that. But we take this a little chunk at a time. So those will be the first two, because pretty much these two, the art reception and the art festival, we almost have the budget for those completely done. So they'll be ready for us to be able to submit at the next meeting. And the first thing that's gonna come up was March. So we're probably gonna have to get these first two to city council February 7th meeting.
Yeah, I think that is that one. Yeah, the first one is the 7th and the
Yeah.
second one is gonna be the 21st.
Yeah, the 21st will be a little too late to do
Yeah.
the March one.
So in purchasing these items, that's just for the reception, once we get the budget approved, do like we individually, like, do I go out and purchase everything and then request reimbursement from the art council, or how do we have?
That's a question I will,
Check, or?
that's a question I will ask, and I've been asking a series of questions already to Colleen, who's been talking to the accountant,
Okay.
and so that's how I got this thing. So
Right.
those
No,
kind of
I
things
just-
ask me, yeah, we need to get those written down so I can say,
Figure out how
I need to
that
know
works.
this, I need to know that, yeah, because that was my next question is, how are we paying for things?
Or do we pay them?
Or, yeah, is there a credit card, do we get a reimbursement, how does that work? That's on my list of things to ask
So,
next.
and I just, like, working with the caterer, I mean, I would assume they need to turn in a formal invoice.
Yes,
And things like that.
Yes.
So that then they're reimbursed by the
right.
commission, not by us.
I will have that information for you ASAP, like I
Because
said.
I just want to go to them and be like, okay.
No, I got you.
I just have two quick, fast questions too.
Yeah.
How fast does it take them to give us our money? Do we know that?
I don't know.
Because I just thought maybe we want to put this on just in case we need like any any brackets or anything to hang stuff. The only thing I think we need are those 3M Velcro tags.
Yeah.
I think those would be.
I got a question in the Santa asking that.
Okay.
He's supposed to get back with us, okay, for hanging our thing for next month, okay? All right, so this is, just wanted to get us started with this, okay? And then y'all can see that as we start looking at the next two, we're gonna kind of a little bit more detailed budget in regards to what all we need, but we're well on our way with getting this moved. And then maybe something else that might come up that we found out we didn't need this money, and somebody came here with a bright idea. That's what we do, right? We bring bright ideas, and then we work them out. MLK was our first big bright idea. Stephanie had most of it done in 4 hours, and she said, okay, here you go. And I was like, oh. Well, let's get started then. And we started working on that the week school was getting out for Christmas. And we said, well, can't do anything until we get back on the 3rd. And we were pulling our fingernails out. We got it done. Okay, so that's pretty much it for budget, guys. I will keep us tabs on this and how this works out. And, you know, so thus far, we're looking at $18,000 coming out of our $65,000. Right? That's gonna be our art festival and our art reception.
I have a
Okay?
question.
Yes,
When do we propose that to city council? Which dates?
I was saying we were gonna do it on
February
the
7th.
7th. Okay.
And are we each, sorry, this goes back to the, no, no, I was just thinking in my head because Tara, I looked at her and I was like, oh, yeah, tablets. We talked about having tablets and a form for people to like fill out when they're at the reception to put their information in, so you can collect that database with people. So then I started thinking.
But that could be still written too, and then we could just input it into the.
Or we could have a QR code.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I have used that so much lately, the QR code. Yeah, QR code. Okay. All right. Okay. I will start thinking more about this idea of questions, and we'll be shooting it to you guys, saying, here's a question, what do you think? What else you got for me? So we can get answers for the next time. Okay? All right. Anybody else? We got anything else?
I have a
Oh,
question.
yes.
The gentleman that was here last month.
Yeah.
The sculptor.
Uh-huh.
Trying to find out if we wanted to buy a sculpture.
Right.
But, I mean, we never discussed that.
Yeah.
Said we were gonna talk about it. I don't know if some decision been made.
There is the East Side project that we're gonna talk about next time is a possibility for us to talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
Right now, we've been saying, yeah, we're gonna do something. Just not right at the moment right now. He received information saying, thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. We'll get back with you if we have
Okay.
more questions.
Just
So,
wanna know what happened.
yeah, he got a response from me using our
Is it
little
just,
form.
you know, like drop?
No,
It's
so-
still pretty pricey for our budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, maybe
We
not,
need you more money.
maybe not.
Well, you know, like, well, the sculpture wasn't recommended the town by it, yeah.
Well, you
Not
know,
our budget.
and maybe that was something I think we can consider that.
He's got some other stuff, so we might want to have a call on sculptures, you know, so yes. It's on that, but he did know that we appreciate him coming out, and we'll get back with him with more questions as they should arise, so that's all I need to know with that one. Because I do have a potential way of something I would like sculptures on, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, I was gonna tell everybody, we have January, ladies, January, okay, y'all not gonna sit here. All right, we've got, 17th, we have the next city council meeting. Okay, January, right?
Already passed.
That's right, I was there, February, city council meetings on the 7th and the 21st. We're gonna have something to propose to city council on the 7th. Want to let everybody know, I'm always just gonna let you know about city council meetings. I told you about the art in the park, the next one's coming up on February the 4th. And then there's gonna be, the Valentine's dance for people with disabilities is gonna be on the 10th of February. It's gonna be at Jim Stalls. It is a fabulous event. If you guys have time to go on 6 p.m. on that Friday evening, do go. I go and volunteer all the time. Like, we actually have to decorate the whole place. Come help. And getting places and balloons and all that kind of stuff ready. They come in their best outfits, let me tell you. And they have a fabulous time. It's a great event. We're trying to get some high school student organizations to participate, but if you can come, that would be fabulous. And then a little bit about paint and sip, you got those ready yet?
Yeah, February 11th is our first one.
Okay.
We're limiting it to 24 participants right now. I believe the cost was $30 per person. And it's at the fruit, what's it?
Fruit Center?
Yeah.
Fruit Center? Okay. And what time? On the 11th?
It's in the afternoon.
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
The first painting is like, it looks like a wood and it says HOME on it. It's got the state of Texas, and right where Kyle is, there's like a little heart. And the other one says, you could do like a pastel-y kind of background, and it says LOVE, and the Texas is there with a little heart. It's online now, it's advertised as Paint Sip at the city of Kyle. That's where people are
And
registered.
we have, what was it? What was it?
I don't know how, you bring your sip.
You bring your, oh, you bring your okay.
Yeah, you bring your sip.
Good to know. All right.
Say that if you want.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Commission, anything else? All right. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a motion to, let's conclude this meeting for this evening.
I motion.
You move.
I move.
All right, we need a second?
I second.
All right, we got a second. Thank you for our secretary's person. Ladies, gentlemen, it was a pleasure.
You what? We're gonna make all of it, as many as I can.
By everybody?
Or not, we should, yes. If you need anything,
This goes to the news.
our name, like, why,
Is this the next?